Hello, architects, and welcome back to a very professional, very quality RPG architect tutorial. My name is Bert, and today, I asked you yesterday, day before? I asked you recently, what did you want to see in the next tutorial? And you guys answered overwhelmingly that you wanted to see 3D environment stuff. No, you answered that you wanted to see character growth and statistics, building out our characters. And so that's what we're going to be doing today. So if we look at our first character here, for whatever reason I named him Bertimus Maximus. It's either an awesome name or a terrible name, depending on, you. But anyway, so this window here, this is where a lot of the magic is going to happen. But if you can see, we got these drop downs, but there's nothing in them. Right? We have rank, growth, starting rank, maximum rank. I actually have this set to 50 already. I'm just going to leave it at that. That's that's pretty decent. But you can think of these as like level. Or that's how I think of it, at least. That may be the wrong way to think of it. I don't know. But that's how I'm going to think of it. So anyway, how do we get things in these drop-down boxes? How do we get this looking like a stat sheet or whatever? Well, we need to come over here. We're in our database, by the way. If you haven't watched any of these videos before, then you're probably really confused. Hit F8 to bring up your database, or go to Tools, Database, I believe. Anyway, over here on the left side, we have Statistics. We're going to click on the top one, Statistics. And just like normal with all our other things, we're going to click on Resize. And this is going to fill out, some spots for us to start adding stats in. So let's do, let's just do 20. I'm not going to use all 20 right now, but yeah, so it opens up, now we have a bunch of slots, and this is what we fill out here. So we can name the statistic. I'm going to start with this first one. I'm going to call it level. And actually, before I get into that and naming a bunch of them, let's go over the categories. Let's see. Let me click over my other window, make sure I got... Yeah. So we have a bunch of different categories here. We have core, first and foremost. Core is going to be is like... How to define it without saying the word core. A core statistic represents a core or an inherent value. That was just rolled off the top of my head. I didn't read that. So this is stuff like strength, wisdom, agility, spirit, vitality, etc. So those core stats that you're going to see for each of your characters, right? Rank, like I was mentioning before, that's kind of like your level, your class level, your job level, those sorts of things, right? So since we have it set to level, or named level rather, this is what we'll be setting this one as. But I'm going to go through anyway and list out the rest of these. Growth statistics is things like experience points or skill points, things to accumulate for your growth. You get EXP, job points, class points. You get it. You guys have played a JRPG before. You know what I mean. Store points is a stat that stores a value against a maximum value. So things like HP or MP, or if you have a stamina bar like in Chrono Cross or something, something that there will be a maximum value, and then you deplete it through battle or whatever. That will be a store value. Anything that you list as a store value, the formula will automatically generate a name. So say this was HP, right? It would generate a formula name called max_HP. I'll flash it on the screen, or I won't. I don't know. We'll get into that, but I'll show you what I mean later if that didn't make sense. And a trait, lastly, is it's used to hold values, but it's not really taken into stat tables It's not included in stat tables by default. So it's things like reputation, faction alignment, fire resistance, verbal abuse resistance, those kind of things, those standards, right? Okay. So anyway, we have our first thing. It's level, so we need to set this as rank. Okay. Formula name. This is how this stat will be referenced in our formulas. That's a good way of saying it. So each one of these has to be unique from each other. What this is, we're basically creating variables to reference in our formulas. What does that mean, Bert? Well, I'm going to show you. But right now, the stat is called level. So our formula variable, I'm just going to do something simple, LVL, okay? We're going to do, for the second slot, oh, and then we have maximum, I should go to this, right? Maximum value of the statistic, minimum value of the statistic. That's pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward, right? Oh, geez, I don't know. I'm just going to do 1. I don't know. Doesn't matter for this example, but you'll get it as we go. Maybe, hopefully. So that's our level. And now we're going to set our next one. We're going to call it experience. And you don't have to call it level. You don't have to call it experience. I'm just trying to keep it like, pretty standard, pretty vanilla for you guys. We're not getting Neapolitan up in here. Okay, so since it's experience, as we went over, it needs to be a growth, under the growth category. Our experience, the formula, we are going to call it EXP. You know what? And I just realized okay, we're going to go EXP there. We're going to go minimum 1. Why the crap did I set the maximum level to be 9,999? That is so stupid. I didn't set it to 50. Duh. You can do that, what I just did, if you want. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can, but I wouldn't do it. But I mean, you could. Anyway, I wasn't thinking before. All right, so we have our experience points, we have our level. Now keep in mind, you might set more things like job level, job experience, battle points, blah, blah, blah. If you want to do anything like that, I would set those first before you get into anything that's going to be under core core category. And I'll show you why in a moment, but for right now, we're going to do, we'll do HP, and since HP is going to be set against a maximum value, it's something that needs to deplete, when you take damage and whatnot. We're going to set that as a store value, and I'm going to label it HP. And if you remember what I said a second ago, you probably don't because I just ramble on, but anyway, keep note that I've set it to HP, and I'm going to show you something when we get over back to the character page. Maximum HP, I don't know, dude. We'll just do the standard there. Minimum 100, sure. I could set here. I'll just do it anyway. We're going to go MP, store. We'll do 999. Minimum MP 10. I don't know, whatever. Now we'll do, let's do strength. I might keep this in, I might fast forward. Depends on how my commentary is. Strength, so we're gonna do STR. What should maximum strength value be? I don't know. We'll do some old school Final Fantasy 255. That's what the max was on, like Final Fantasy 8 and probably others. So we'll do that. And I don't know, 10, whatever. We're gonna do vitality. That is a core value, core character, like strength. We're gonna do vitriol, 255, 10. Actually, I'm just gonna copy this and paste it a couple times. Yes, and you get an error message. It's because we got the same formula name. I'm just gonna, I'll fix it. That should be good, actually. Woo, excuse me. So you see we get this error message. It's because we got repeats. Let's call this, or, no, I don't want to do agility yet. Let's do, I don't know, magic, and spirit, SPR. See, now it went away. And I'll just do one more. I'm not going to fill all these out in a moment, but I'm just trying to give you a good picture of my life. Okay, so there we go. We got level, experience, HP, MP, strength, vitality, magic, spirit, and agility. That's some pretty standard stuff, right? But what do we do with all that? It's like, okay, we defined it here. Well, let's come back over. Here I am, statistics, characters. I'm gonna go to Bert Maximus, best name ever. Oh, and look at that. Would you just look at that? We now have things happening. And, oh, it's got things remembered from my tests. Okay, well, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain there. Now, when you jump over to this, after you set your stats, it may not have filled out like it did for mine because, like I said, I was testing some things, making sure I'm understanding properly. You may have to click the drop-down box and select level and experience before... Yeah, so let's test it out on Gab. Actually, it's perfect. Let's test it out on old Gab here. So I click level, rank. Let's click growth, experience, boom. Look at that. And it set maximum rank to 50 automatically, I believe, because I have this as the maximum here. 50 is maximum on my level, right? I believe that's what happened. Yeah, so you can see, all right, we got everything in there to level 50, but all of her stats are 0. So what's up with that? We'll start her at rank 1 because we're not monsters. Well, if you see next to all of these things that we define up here, all our stats, there's this little calculator. And if we click it, we have statistics formula. Now this is where we start getting into the stuff I fear, math. What is it? 252, 275. Half of. Check here. Okay, so we have this bar here is where we'll enter our formulas. You have a little checkbox where it'll save the formula as you go. We'll get into that in a second. There are math constants that you can use in your formula. You probably know pi. I knew pi, and I'm not a math guy, and I knew pi. E is what is it? Euler's number. It is a mathematical constant. Flash that on the screen. Again, I'm not a math guy, so just hang tight with me in here because I don't know what these functions do necessarily. You probably do. I know a couple of them. Random, I know what that does. Min, I know what that does. Median, I think I could figure that one out. Dice, those are cool. Anyway, so we have constants that we can use in our formula. We have different math functions that you smarter people than me can know what to do with. And then we have variables. And if you notice, hey, we got, these all look very familiar. These are what we just defined over in our stats window. And remember what I was talking about with HP? It automatically generated a second variable. We have the HP that we listed, and a second variable was generated called max HP. And the same for MP. We got regular MP and we got max MP, right? And then our others are just like, you know, bog standard or whatever. So this is where we start listing things out. So we can go to our experience, and let's just say this is going to be a terrible formula, but I'm throwing it out there as an example. Let's say we want our experience growth is going to be 100. There's people who are groaning already. 100 times level plus 50. I don't know, dude. Let's just... This is terrible. This is probably not going to work good. I'm going to click remember formula. But we're going to see what it does. We are going to see what it does. This is very stupid. At least I'm self-aware enough to know that. You click remember formula because if I left this off and I clicked OK, it would delete this, right? So I'm going to click remember formula. I'm going to click OK. And look at that. So now, at level 1, or to get from level 1 to level 2, the character needs to get to at least 250 experience points. To get to level 3, 350 experience points, and so on and so forth. I can see the error of my ways, why this is not a good formula. So, that in mind, I can be like, oh, well, that was dumb. Let me do level... Okay, let's try this. 100 plus level times pi. Let's see what that's like. Remember formula, click OK. All right, that looks a little bit more naturalish. It's still not good. That still ain't good at all. Okay, well, the values I have here, that don't matter. Okay, we're gonna do that. I like it. Plus 1,000. Boom. That's terrible. Okay. Anyway, so you get the point though, right? You come up with your formula. You do a better job than me because you know what these things all mean. And you plug it in and you see the results, right? So let's try it with one of our stats, yeah? Yeah. Let's define... Alright, I have... Okay. Okay. I'm gonna jump over to Vitality. Okay? And look away for a second. Just stop looking. Stop looking. Don't... Stop it. Why is it doing that? Okay, that's weird. Copy. Stop looking. I just came up with this off the top of my head. We're gonna say it's Vitality plus level times E plus a random stat growth. We're gonna generate it, and look at that. She's got Vitality stats going up, and it looks a little better-ish than you would see over here. So that's taking her Vitality base stat, and it's adding it to her level multiplied by Euler's number, which is, as you know, it equals approximately 2.71828 and can be characterized in many ways. So using that formula, we're going to remember it. We're going to click OK. Bam, it just doubled. I saw stat changes. I don't know why, but again, not a math guy. We got stats going there. Now, just look away for a second. Just look away. We're gonna go. Just stop looking. Definitely not copying anything from a former project. We're gonna go off the top of my head. We're gonna control paste. We're gonna say the HP is the Vitality plus her level times 100. I think that's a good formula. I think that's a great formula. We're gonna click OK. And look, generates in. That looks pretty reasonable. That's not too bad. So at level 50, she'd have 5,272 HP. Okay. So, I mean, you guys, you get the point, right? Right? You get it. Jokes aside, like I said, I'm not a math guy, so you can do a much better job at this than I can, but that just gives you, this just shows you how you do it, right? You can, oh, and I should mention too, you can export out these. If you get something that you like, you can export it out and to like a spreadsheet, a CSV, I believe, or you can import in, yeah, CSV. So say if you're like, oh, I love the character stat growth on Final Fantasy VII, we'll just say, and you somehow have that for like Cloud's stat growth in a spreadsheet form, and you have the stats all defined like you need to, you know, laid out here properly, you could just import it. You wouldn't even have to do the math. Because, yeah, you can set these values individually, too. I didn't even mention that. So at level 9, I wanted to have strength 50, and then I want it to drop at level 19 to 48. Why? Because I'm crazy. You know what else you could do? Yeah, let's jump over here. Go over to stats. I'm going to set another stat. We're going to call it T level. It's going to be a core stat. We're going to call it TLVL. LVL. Max, I don't know, 999. Minimum 10. We're going to go to Bertimus Maximus. We're going to say, we're just going to copy this formula over here. Sure. Okay, it's growing. It looks great. And then all of a sudden at level 30, we're going to cut it in half. And it's just going to drop from there, right? Because that's just what happens. Oops. That's just what happens after level 30, am I right? You get what I'm saying. But I think this is what we wanted to cover today, how to get your stats rolling. It's pretty easy, honestly. I know I made a joke here and there. I don't know. I tend not to do that, really. I'm pretty serious most of the time. But that's that, man. You define it over here in statistics. You come up with your formula. You do a better job than me, and you got yourself a stew going. So anyway, I think that's going to do it for today's video. Please make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, grab your copy of RPG Architect. It'd be kind of weird if you were watching this video and you didn't have a copy. Kind of a weird move there, you know, so you should probably just go ahead and grab your copy. There's a link in the description. The engine is still in early access, but that means you're getting it for at least half the price of what it's gonna be when we hit the 1.0 release. So get it now while it's cheaper and it's growing, and you can join our Discord server and you can talk directly with us. I say us, but I have nothing to do with the building of the engine. I'm just the guy who says stupid things in videos and makes you laugh and hopefully teaches you a couple things. But you can talk directly with Locke, the developer, and give him your input on the engine, on things that you're like, hey, I really love this. I love the user interfaces. I love that you can import character stats, but this other area is confusing to me, or I'm not getting this, or whatever. You can help us grow, is what I'm getting at. You can help us make this engine the best it can be, right? So, to recap, like, subscribe the video, smash that like button, you know the YouTube things. Purchase RPG Architect if you haven't already. Join our Discord. Join the mailing list to keep up with all things RPG Architect. And if you enjoy my lighthearted, silly commentary and you want to support me directly, you can do so by joining me at patreon.com/bitbybitsound. You'll get hundreds of songs to use in your very own RPG Architect project. Okay, thank you guys again so much for watching. I have been Bert, you have been amazing, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.